Hello there, DragonCrafters! My name is Alex from DragonCraft Productions and welcome to yet another video. This is the episode number 1 of our Dragon Trial series. Let me explain really quick what are the Dragon Trials so you know what to expect from this series coming forward. It's basically challenges that are set up either by me or by my stream community in order for us to achieve something specific. Now, most of them will be about video games, to be honest with you, but coming forward there are plans to include many other aspects of life as well, so they don't have to be just video games. They could be something like cooking challenges or anything in between, really. Dragon Trials are a way for us to track our progress and have fun while doing it. It's just something, a really fun project. We started doing it, it was so fun, it was so popular already, so I decided let's make it a series for YouTube. So sit back and enjoy the show, people. So let's talk about Dragon Trial number 1. It's all about getting ahead of the curve in Liberation of Undermine in World of Warcraft in the current patch. Let me quickly explain what ahead of the curve is for those who are not really, very well initiated with World of Warcraft. Ahead of the curve is basically an achievement that you get by defeating the current boss of a patch or expansion before the release of the next patch or expansion in Heroic difficulty. Now, it's something that it's not exactly hard to do. You can easily do it, especially if you're in a coordinated group, like we have a guild and you raid every so often, you can easily get it. Usually it does require some form of communication and coordination, and of course you having the gear for it, but it's definitely not something impossible to do. However, because I lack having a guild at this moment, because basically time commitment really, I cannot really afford to raid at a specific environment, although trust me, I would very much like to do so. So I decided, you know what, let's try to get ahead of the curve as our first episode of the Dragon Trial series. Like, this is the challenge that we set up ourselves. However, here's another thing. Like, getting it on my main class, on my Warlock, it's something that I have already done in multiple occasions. Playing Warlock for me is second nature. I know exactly what I'm doing every single time. If I get some gear, I can perform really well and very comfortably in a raid. So it's not really a challenge, but more like, let's get the numbers and then get a group. That's all there is to it. I have enough friends that, so if I really wanted to, I could get into a group and get the kill really easily, but I didn't want really to do that. So what I decided to do is I will play the newest raid while rolling a new character, and more specifically, roll a new role into it. So I'm gonna become a healer. I'm gonna be a disciplined priest for the remainder of this challenge in order to clear the boss on Heroic difficulty. And let's start the story, shall we? Now, the first thing that I needed to do is, of course, roll the character. Thankfully, I still had a boost for it. So basically what a boost is, you get a character, you use that boost, and you level it up directly to level 70. And we did that. I did choose my priest. I made all the customization and all of that. Named him Alistar. And now it was time to choose my specialization. So I became a disciplined priest in order for me to actually do it. Now, the first thing that I need to do is, of course, get familiarized with my class, with my spells, with my everything. So I spent quite a bit of time trying to decide what's the best talent, because I don't really like going forward just I'm gonna copy what a guide tells me. I want to read everything, I want to understand what I'm doing, and then decide how I'm gonna use my rotation and stuff like that, and then check up the guides, see what they're doing better, what they're doing differently from me, and then proceed to practice my rotation. The first time I did that, I did use a guide to really quickly go through it because I was in stream right now, so I kind of want to rush it a little bit. So off stream, I actually checked everything and made sure I understand what they were. And off I went to my first couple of dungeons, which I could heal, but I was so stressed about it. It's like, oh my god, what am I doing? How do I do this? Do I keep everything alive? Can I do it? There was some mishaps for sure, but all in all, I was able to perform relatively well. And of course, the major first hurdle that we had to go over is get to level 80, which is the max level for the current expansion. So we're still level 70. We need to get to level 80 while learning our class, while learning our spells, while being able to perform in a way that will allow us at some point to actually start a raid. So a bit of a spoiler before we go on, I managed to get ahead of the curve in 8 days, 8 game days, not actual real life days. There was some breaks in between, but it took me 8 days while streaming. I didn't really count the hours, to be honest. I will tell you that in a comment below or something like that, how many hours it took me to actually get to clear the heroic raid. But just know that in 8 days I managed to actually clear it. So a bit over a week. The first 2 days of that was me trying to get to level 80. I did get to level 80 by the end of day 2, and now it was time to actually for me to start preparing. Day 1 and 2 were really all about just getting to max level. It wasn't really anything to do it. I was just spamming dungeons. I would do a quest here and there. I would do time walking, which is basically getting sent back into time and do dungeons from a different expansion. All those things in order to just get to max level. It's not too overly difficult, but for me leveling is something so boring. I very rarely actually managed to complete the leveling process, and I really hate it, honestly, because it's so slow for me. It's not hard, it's just time consuming, but we managed to do it. In 2 days we had our character from level 70 to level 80. So now day 3 is upon us. Now that we're max level, the only thing that is left to do is just get the gear for it. Really, all you need is gear after you hit max level in order to join any kind of type of content, really, so much so for the heroic raid of that current patch. Now, getting gear is both easy and really hard in any kind of game, but in World of Warcraft in particular, because it's all about the gear. Like, this game is designed to be everything gear-wise. Everything is combat related, so the more gear you have, the better time you will be having in the game. Now, how do you get gear? How I did it, at least, is I was spamming dungeons. I was again doing time walking dungeons, because in World of Warcraft every week there is a specific event that will allow you to get something out of it in the end. One of those events are time walking, as I mentioned before, which is basically if you complete I think 5 time walking dungeons, you get a piece of heroic level gear from the current raid. So all you have to do is clear those 5 dungeons. It's not hard at all to do. They are very much toned down, so anyone can really do it. So basically time walking works. Anyone from level 10 to max level, they can join, so they're toned down to that effect. So we did that, we completed the 5 time walking dungeons, we got our piece of gear from there. Then we reached about an item level, about 608. 606 is the minimum item level that was required for me to enter LFR, looking for raid difficulty. Now, looking for raid is... how can I say this kindly? Looking for raid is basically a difficulty that is meant just go and kill the goddamn boss. There are no real mechanics. There are some mechanics, but nothing out of the ordinary. Like, anyone can just go in, roll their fucking head into their keyboard, and they can clear it. If at least 10 people know exactly what they should be doing, or have some idea what to be doing, you will clear the boss. Even if you don't have the damage for it and you wipe, the game will give you, okay, take 5% extra damage and healing. Oh, you've died again. Take another 5. I don't know how much it can go to, but there are ways to get around to. But usually there are not that many problems, especially it was kinda late in the patch cycle, so pretty much everyone in the queue, they had enough gear, so it would not be an issue. I did 2 bosses. I don't really got anything from the raid itself, but what I was looking while I was in LFR is just the basics of how each room, how it was, how it's designed, and what can I expect from the boss at a very basic level. I was not looking at LFR for a way to understand how the mechanics work. I was just looking to what they actually are at the very, very, very base level. So day 5 is upon us, and now that was the day that we decided, let's get into Liberation of Undermine, the actual raid, and see what we can get. Before we did that, we cleared all LFR just to have a look at every single boss, what they are doing, what the basic mechanics are. Like I said, looking for raid, it's not the place for you to actually look the mechanics. I will be honest with you, although personally I prefer, and I've always done it like this, when I had a guild that was actually able to do that, I was basically trying to see every boss for the first time while in fight and adjust from there. Especially normal difficulty, it's not really that hard to do so. You can, if you are experienced player, you know what to expect, you know what to do, you know what to adjust, and try to figure out the basic tactics in order to defeat the boss. It's not always perfect, it never is, but that's what I really like in my video game experience, especially in World of Warcraft. That's what I like to do. Like in every game, the best thing for me is get to a new boss, get to a new challenge, whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be an actual one boss, but being able to overcome it, that gives me the sense of satisfaction in the end. However, for this situation, because I did not have a dedicated guild and the time to actually do the way I want to normally, I did look at guides, so I went off stream. I looked at every guide and every boss to see what the tactics are, what the mechanics are, what can I expect from each boss. As expected, at least on normal, nothing really frightened me. Everything was okay. Only a few mechanics I was kinda unsure about, was kinda iffy about, but that's only because you have to see them in order to understand. While I will not say that I am the greatest player of all fucking time, I do have a good enough ability to, having seen a fight once or twice and actually understand what's been going on, I can usually manage to do it with no problem whatsoever going forward. I very rarely fail at mechanics I've already seen before. Of course I fail every now and then, but usually I don't, especially when I'm focused and like, okay, let's fucking do this, let's buckle up. It's really hard to actually do so, for me at least. Now, let's get into normal raid itself. I will not go through every boss because the video will be too long and too unimportant to actually watch. What I will tell you is that there was no issue whatsoever clearing normal. I was at about 630-ish item level, exactly the item level needed to actually progress through it when you first, get into the new parts. People had already outgeared it, and so it wasn't an issue when it came to numbers. All you had to do is watch out the mechanics. And none of the bosses had very interesting or dangerous mechanics, at least on normal. I did wipe the raid once, which I should actually mention that. On the Styx Bun Junker fight, I will just give you some clarity to what the fight is about, so anyone who doesn't know. All you have to do is basically you get randomly selected at some point from the boss, and you become a junk ball. Yes, you heard me right, a magnetic junk ball, and you roll around the room. All you have to do is start picking up small trash, small junk from the ground in order for you to get bigger. At 50% you get big enough to roll over bigger junk, and once you are 100%, so you are a big junk ball, you either hit a bomb that spawns from the boss, which is #1 priority. If you don't hit that, it's basically a wipe, or you hit the boss if there are no bombs for extra raid damage. When I first did it, I did not look properly. There was still a bomb, I did not see it, I hit the boss, and yeah, I wiped the raid, yay! Other than that, nothing really was interesting. The only fight that, actually my favorite fight, was Sprocketmonger, which is a very basic and very straightforward fight, but it had everything I needed for it. Like, it had some movement, but not too much. It had some nice damage to heal through. It had everything that I wanted to as a Discipline Priest, as a healer for this patch, for this expansion, for this raid, for this challenge, let's say. But nothing really out of the ordinary. There was only one boss that was a bit of a problem, which was the one bandit. Basically, people were failing at mechanics because they pick up the tokens that you needed to insert into the boss, and they said, what the fuck do I do now? And they do nothing at all, so the one-armed bandit decided to wipe us, but no problem whatsoever. We went to Chrome King Gallywix. We actually one-shotted the final boss of the raid in normal difficulty, absolutely no problem. My healing was average, to say the least. I was being out-leveled by at least 20 or 30 item levels by most healers in the raid, so I was either from like 4 or 5 healers, I was either second to last or last, but I was keeping up with the next one, with the one above me. So I'm quite happy with what I'm doing, because even though I lack the gear, I can keep up. That's my mindset right now. That's what I'm going forward, and that's how I will go ahead and continue the journey, the ahead of the curve journey, to get heroic difficulty cleared. So, now Heroic Raid Day is upon us. Let's go into it. We actually steamrolled the entire fucking thing. I was about 640 item level, the bare minimum entry level to enter the Heroic Raid, and I will tell you now, the only reason I entered that raid, I was accepted into a group, was because I queued with a friend of mine who plays a tank, who has very good item level, already has ahead of the curve. So we queued up together and they wanted him, so they got me as well. Like, I was like kind of like the bonus, like the compensation prize. Like, yeah, you get that and you also get that. Like, as a bonus, as a gift for getting the next best thing. Shout out to Tess, amazing tank, always. Like I said, we steamrolled the entire fucking thing. There was no problem whatsoever. The only issues we had was one armed bandit, because people were failing basic mechanics. Tess said we're gonna wipe multiple times on Maxi. We literally one-shotted him. We went to Gallywix. Our best attempt was 70-ish% of the boss's health, because we were failing at basic mechanics. That was the sad part of it. People fell on left and right, grenades were not going off. It was just a hell show to begin with. Unfortunately, that group disbanded then, but I still wanted to get that heroic kill. I was like, this is the day I'm gonna get my heroic kill. All I need is a good enough group. In the pack roll, it's not easy to find one, but I queued us again with my friend Tess. Get into it. We found a group that were up to Maxi, so we had to do that boss again, which we wiped actually once, because people were failing at mechanics, but no problem whatsoever. Again, I was struggling to be at the top 3 healers. I was not performing that well. I was not that hot geared, honestly. But you know what? Whatever. We went ahead and did it. We managed to defeat Maxi. We went again to Gallywix. We had multiple attempts. Our best attempt was our first attempt, actually, which we downed at 30%. And people started failing at mechanics, and then the raid leader decided, you know what, fuck all of you, I'm gonna start removing people. They removed me because I was not performing that well in healing numbers. However, I will tell you now, it was not a healing issue whatsoever. People were healed very comfortably. I was doing my part. Definitely not as big as all the other killers, but again, I'm still under gear, I'm still under leveled. I was doing the bare minimum that you should be doing at the boss. Definitely not great, but not, you know, worse. The worst of all, anyway. It was not a healing issue, but I was removed. It was like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. I'm gonna stop now because I'm kinda... yeah, I was just fed up with it at this point. Now, what happened then was very interesting for me. I found a group from a streamer, basically, who had this group going on, like, day attempt 252, if I remember right, of killing Gallywix Heroic while on a pug. So basically that streamer was helping out people to get that heroic achievement. Now, there are 2 ways to interpret this, and I'll be completely honest. First of all, I will mention the dude in the comments below, so you can follow his link, and if you want to, you can join his groups for getting heroic kills. I think that's a fantastic way to do it, but obviously he does it for, you know, exposure, to get more people into his Twitch channel and all of that, which is perfectly acceptable, by the way. I have no problem whatsoever with that, but boy oh boy was it so fucking slow. Why was it slow? First of all, he demanded people be on Discord, which I can totally respect. And he also, basically, actually all he wanted, the person, was be there, follow fucking tactics, follow what I say, and just don't do anything. To his credit, he solo tanked the whole fucking thing. We used my lockout, because no one else had up to Maxi. Everybody had like killed 1 or 2 bosses or something. I was the only one that was saved up to Maxi, so we could start from Gallywix himself. So at least I would not get removed. So that was a really big point. And we started the fight. Things went relatively well at first, but the tank died because he did something stupid, and we wiped at like 5%. I was so frustrated at this point. I was like, okay, whatever, let's just go ahead. Let's go and try again. To his credit, he still kept the group going. He was also getting, thanks to, I will not even attempt to pronounce the name because fuck that name, honestly, it was so fucking confusing. But thank you so much for your dedication and your attempt to do stuff for the community itself. Things like that is what matters. Back to the fight itself, I was being outperformed, and suddenly, all of a sudden, at our last pull, something clicked. I started healing really fucking well, really amazingly well. We had 4 healers now, so I had to be doing well. I had to be performing absolutely fantastic. And we got things done. We cleared the phase 1, which was the most difficult phase for me. We cleared that. We passed that. Okay, we're going in. We managed to defeat Gallywix Heroic and get my achievement ahead of the curve. So that was the journey for our Dragon Trial number 1. Try to get ahead of the curve with a new class, with a new role for myself. One of the reasons I did it was to prove to people all around the world that you can do it. It took me literally 8 days. I did use a boost, so that definitely sped up the process, but it took me 8 days to level a character from level 70 to level 80, get the appropriate gear needed, learn the class, and actually clear the latest raid on Heroic. Now, you could argue that because it was so late in the patch cycle, people had already the gear, so it was kind of boosted through to some things. I will tell you this, however, people in World of Warcraft, they do not care, absolutely do not care, except results and item level that they can see. So if I was not performing well, I would not be selected, I would not be chosen, I would not be kept into the raid. You saw that already happening once, I was removed from a group once, so it's something to keep in mind. The only reason I did that was to prove to you that if you want to do it, you can do it. I'm a fucking idiot and I managed to do it. So don't be afraid to challenge yourself to try and do it. It will be frustrating at times, but the satisfaction in the end will be absolutely amazing. Anyways, that's the end of this video for the Dragon Trial number 1. More challenges will be coming soon. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see them. This is the first time I actually did the YouTube thing in quite a while. So I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Love ya. Bye.